Hi there, welcome to Lorena's Labyrinth today. Today we're going to be talking about the colour violet, and I just want to make the disclaimer, just really reiterate this before we get into the discussion or the conversation about healing properties and strategies, is that people would be unwise to ignore their professional medical advice for the sake of using colour therapy. What I would encourage people to do is to incorporate the colour healing therapy with their own current medical plans and to have a conversation with their doctor just in case there becomes new information available that might show contraindications, shall we say. I don't believe that this will be the case, but just in case, you would use your colour therapy in conjunction with your current treating plans. Also, excuse me, swallowing while I talk. I just want to remind people that if you've got questions or you'd like to make comments, I invite you to. If somebody else doesn't answer the questions, I will make answers or responses in my yarning videos, which I load on a Sunday. So when we talk about the colour violet, we're actually talking about a colour that sits on the spectrum between red and blue, and of course it is the opposite of yellow. So traditionally the pigments for violet came from berries or cobalt, and the depth of violet is going to vary, of course, on the amount of red or blue that's included in the mix. And for the lighter shades of violet, of course, it's going to have some of the white in it. But the true violet is more just the blue and the red shades. The colour violet, of course, is a highly spiritual colour. It's considered to be holy, and we can see links with the colour and various religious organisations. For example, many Christian priests are going to wear robes of violet, or during the periods of Lent and Advent, or is it pronounced Advent? Referring, of course, to the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus Christ. So they associate violet with preparation for sacrifice, and often they will wear these violet robes at funerals as well. And apparently the idea that sits behind that is to encourage people to pray for the soul of the departed person. Other times they're going to wear purple sashes like what you see in this image here. And so, yes, just to reiterate, it's considered to be quite a holy colour, very spiritual. I included this photo by Getty Images. Hopefully this copyright is not a breach because I've put it up there that it is a photo by Getty Images. But anyway, it is of the coronation of King Charles, the British king, and it shows that there are royal links also associated with the colour violet, and this is because the King of England is considered to be the defender of the faith. So instead of wearing robes, he actually is wearing a jacket here. You can see it better in different images and photographs that you might see online, but you also see that with his violet robe, he's also got the colours of gold interspersed within this jacket, and that's another very highly spiritual association from a colour perspective. So in fact, if you want to consider holy and sacred or religious spiritual colours, white, gold and violet would be up there as probably the peaks. From a chakra perspective, violet is associated with the crown chakra, and as I mentioned in the video on white, white is also associated with the crown chakra. Different people attach different colours to this particular chakra, but either way, the violet is associated with concepts of focus, concentration, vision, psychic abilities, and creative thought. And it would therefore be recommended to anybody who is struggling with issues around the brain or head, the mind, the power of thought. These people might benefit from working with the colour violet just in general. And yes, okay. Actually, I'll give you a little bit more information here too. When we talk about the highly spiritual colours that I did in the previous slide of white, violet and gold, interestingly, gold is associated with the aura and also what we call celestial light beings, or some people refer to as angels. And then, as I say, the crown chakra is associated with the white or the violet. But often when people are attempting to access the light beings, instead of visualizing themselves within a circle, say, of white, they would use the gold colour if that was what they were aiming to do. So when we talk about the powers or benefits of the colour violet, basically we would recommend it for anybody who's struggling with, say, physical issues such as headaches and migraines, if they're struggling to focus or concentrate. So particularly good for students or for lecturers and teachers. Those people that are attempting to develop their intuitive gifts or their creative gifts would also be recommended to use the colour violet. And people that are trapped in old thinking patterns that keep them locked in negative behaviours or negative cycles, or who feel that they're blocked and restricted and unable to move forward in their life because of whatever limitations they're addressing, the old roadblocks in the path, they would be encouraged to use the violet flame. And the other way that we could use, when I say violet flame, actually I should have said the colour violet, but there is an activity I'm going to be talking about in a little while where we can draw upon the colour violet and the power through the use of the violet flame. So we'll talk about that shortly. But otherwise we can actually draw upon the colour violet for an all-round rebalance of the aura. And as I said before, violet in itself, one of the primary colour associations is, besides the fact spiritual and holiness and connection to the divine, is it is also associated with feeling of freedom, liberation, and for people that are feeling entrapped, they would benefit definitely from the use of the colour violet. The colour violet is also associated with Usui Reiki, and it's believed to basically, what is the word? To induce a full physical and mental healing and transformation, So that wasn't a very good way of me explaining it, but basically Reiki practitioners of Usui's form of Reiki, there's multiple forms of Reiki, is said to activate the intuition, open creativity, increase the psychic senses, and to allow for the release of karma so that people can regain freedom from any past limitations. So that's just a little interesting tidbit for you. So linking all of this information together, there's many people believe that the colour violet is very helpful to regenerate the nervous system, to heal physical health conditions, and also conditions of the mind such as insomnia and even other mental health disorders and illness. And other people will recommend the use of the colour violet for eye or brain injuries. Other people, I'm just giving you the information that I'm aware of, other people will actually recommend it as a treatment for epilepsy or where there's neural damage or interruption, intellectual disabilities or whatever, because it's said that this colour violet can actually reprogram cells. Then there's people who believe in angels, and they believe that Archangel Zadkiel is the holder of what is referred to as the violet ray, and that he oversees the crown chakra. So the violet ray is referred to as the freedom of God, and when it comes to Archangel Zadkiel, it's believed that he is the respondent when people ask for miracles, that from Jesus or God or whatever, that he responds on their behalf. And so basically he's the miracle man, and he's very much associated with the colour violet. And if we're talking about more mainstream beliefs of the benefits of violet, say perhaps in the fields of mental health, particularly art therapy or whatever, there becomes that subconscious message that we're talking about. The type of people that will be drawn to or repelled by the colour violet, they're often experiencing a lack of balance in their lives. And by that I mean they might be all work and no play, or they are totally ignoring any spiritual aspects of their lives. Other times they might be experiencing symptoms such as the headaches and the migraines, and this difficulty processing information and retaining it, especially if it's new knowledge. These are just examples. So for them, the question would be, if we were working with these people and they were drawn to, as I say, or repelled by the colour violet, just to open up the door to some questions. How are you feeling about your life? Do you feel that you've got a balance? This kind of thing. And maybe they're overwhelmed by challenges and struggling to see the positive within life, especially when we become inundated by challenges. Sometimes we become overwhelmed, and sometimes the challenges can be so difficult to navigate that we don't see the blessings and opportunities that are arising within these challenges. So the exploration of what violet means to them becomes an opportunity to challenge thinking patterns and to develop a more positive outlook on life. So, of course, when it comes to giving strategies, they're basically what I refer to as healing activities, and they do involve having a visual or a creative imagination approach to them. And what I say to people is, look, it doesn't matter if you believe in spiritual, it doesn't matter if you believe in energy even. There is nothing to lose by doing these activities, And if we keep an open mind, well, then maybe, just maybe, things will happen in positive ways for people. You never know unless you give it a go. So anyway, there's the first activity that comes to mind is one which is referred to as the blessings of the violet box, right? Which, of course, I've tried to get an example here. So the idea would be that you would encourage a person to sit there, or yourself, to sit there and imagine, focusing on your breath, that there is some kind of learning from your subconscious, or if you're into spiritual, your higher self, or that the divine is trying to give you. You can own it all and just say it's my subconscious trying to give me a message. So I know one lady, she used to say that when she would be focusing, she would be doing the download the data, or bring the data, the information through to the conscious mind. So I would encourage you to think about how it is that you would like to approach this. And then you just basically close your eyes and imagine that you've got a violet gift box floating toward you. And as it nears you, you unwrap it and you receive the gift that lies within it. All right, so you open it up, you take a look. I can't give you a gift specifically. This is where your imagination becomes relevant. And anyway, you allow this gift to enter your heart. And as you do so, you allow a violet ray of light to penetrate your body, and you feel it relax and energize you. And you let go of all fears, stress, and worry. And you allow your body and your mind to return to a state of balance. And you affirm, because affirmations are great. They're a way of reinforcing your own mind, which is divine intelligence. This is the affirmation. Divine intelligence, allow and assist me to create a balanced and harmonious life full of blessings and joy. And then you just finish it with the gratitude, which could be thanks be, or however you like to say thank you. Another really good activity is actually this one here. And this one it's got multi-purpose benefits, shall we say. Now, just to be clear, I like to practice a lot of the things that I talk about because I think if I've got experience on using something, it's positive and I can share that with people comfortably. And that includes that if I've tried something and I didn't get a lot of whatever positive out of it, or I got nothing out of it, I can also share that with you as well. Now, when it comes to this particular activity, I'd read it. I was neither here nor there, as I imagine many people that are watching this video will look at it and go like, oh my golly gosh, yeah, that's right. Oh my golly gosh, I was the same as you. But one night I was particularly desperate, and so I'm just going to share this little story with you. I try to keep an open mind when it comes to new information, but this particular night, I was aware in the town that I was living in a little remote area in Western Australia. There was one of those flu outbreaks where people were getting it and it was knocking them for six, and some of them were getting pneumonia. I can't remember if it was swine flu or bird flu or something like that, but people were really sick for about a week. Some people were hospitalised with pneumonia. They'd think they were over it, and then 4 weeks later they'd get another whammy of it and it would be worse than the first time. So I'd managed to get by without actually catching it. And then one particular night I was very sick and I was home alone. I had my 3 children and they were all sleeping, but I couldn't sleep because I was coughing and I was in incredible pain because of it sitting on my chest. And you will all know, I'm sure everybody at some point in time has had one of those ripping coughs that whenever you take a breath or you try to cough, you start to feel the pain in not only the muscles along your sides and your stomach and that kind of thing, but I'd actually got to the point where I was worried I was going to break a rib from coughing so much. And I was so desperate and I couldn't get to the hospital, and I also was a single mum. So I took myself out because I knew I couldn't sleep. I took myself out to the lounge room and I lay down on the couch, and out of desperation, I remembered that there was this activity and I pulled it out and I started doing this affirmation and the visualization. And in the end, because I was so exhausted from the coughing, I actually fell asleep trying to visualize this flame. Now, where I'm going with this is I woke up the next morning. I obviously went out like a light that night. And when I woke up the next morning, I had absolutely no pain, no residual pain in my sides that I'd experienced the night before. And all the symptoms of my cold, my flu, had gone. And I never got the second dose of it, which is rather fascinating. So just going back to how we do it, okay, this is a very simple activity. You just imagine yourself sitting or standing within a circle of the violet flames. If you struggle to do it, just get an image like what I've done, or even pause on this to reinforce this into your brain. And then you make this affirmation and you do it with a little bit of firmness to the tone as well. So you're not doing a little wussy, I am, even if you're feeling sick and wussy, you don't do the like, I am the silver violet flame. You got to put a little bit into it. So basically, I am the silver violet flame. I am the flame of mercy. I am the flame of joy. I am the flame of transmutation. I am the flame of Saint Germain. I am Archangel Zadkiel. Okay, that's an example of how you would say it. And then once you've done the affirmation, you feel all the dross and negativity in your aura being burned up by this beautiful flame, and you're able to return back to the perfect health. So that's how you do it, folks. It's not hard. Let me know how it works for you. So in fact, even if you give these techniques and strategies a bit of a whirl and you don't feel that they work or that they're all a bit useless or whatever, put those comments up as well, because I am absolutely open to all feedback going up on the channel. But anyway, I just want to say thank you for being part of the journey. If you've stuck in this far and you're still with me listening to my voice, I feel very grateful. So I just want to say thank you for joining me today, and hopefully I've given you something to contemplate, think about, potentially a new tool for your emotional and psychological toolbox. And I will catch you on the next video. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye for now.